Brazil, the most successful nation in World Cup history, 5 World Cups, countless legends, and a reputation that makes every opponent nervous before the match even begins. For many fans, Brazil is once again one of the favorites to win the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The squad is talented, the attack is dangerous, and the expectations are enormous. But what if Brazil has a hidden weakness that almost nobody is talking about? A weakness that has already cost them multiple World Cups. A weakness that could once again turn a dream into a nightmare. Because while football fans are focused on Brazil's incredible stars, they may be missing the one problem that has haunted this team for more than a decade. And if that problem isn't solved before 2026, Brazil's World Cup dream could collapse. The weight of expectations. Being Brazil isn't easy. Every World Cup, fans don't ask if Brazil can compete, they ask if Brazil can win. Anything less than lifting the trophy feels like failure. That's a level of pressure very few nations experience. Young players grow up hearing stories about legendary champions. They watch highlights of past glory. They wear the same colors. And eventually, they're expected to continue the legacy. That sounds inspiring, but it can also become a burden. Pressure creates mistakes. Pressure changes decision-making. Pressure turns simple matches into emotional battles. And no team carries more pressure than Brazil. In many ways, Brazil doesn't just play against opponents, they play against history itself. The quarterfinal curse. Let's look at something surprising. Brazil has consistently produced world-class players, yet despite all that talent, recent World Cups have ended in disappointment. In 2006, they were favorites. They lost. In 2010, they looked strong. They lost. In 2018, they had another talented squad. They lost. In 2022, many believed it was finally their time. And once again, they fell short. Notice the pattern. The problem isn't reaching the tournament. The problem isn't surviving the group stage. The problem comes later, when the pressure reaches its highest level, when every mistake becomes fatal, when one moment can decide everything. That's where Brazil has repeatedly struggled, and that should concern every Brazilian fan. Football has changed. There was a time when overwhelming talent could dominate a tournament. Modern football doesn't work that way. Today's game is more tactical, more organized, more disciplined. The gap between elite teams has become smaller. Underdogs are stronger. Defenses are smarter. Coaches are more prepared. A team cannot simply rely on individual brilliance anymore. They need balance, structure, discipline, and emotional control. The nations winning major tournaments today aren't always the most talented. They're often the most complete. And that creates a challenge for Brazil, because talent has never been their problem. Consistency has. The hidden weakness. So what is Brazil's hidden weakness? It's not talent, it's not experience, it's not coaching. It's emotional control during high-pressure moments. Think back to some of Brazil's most painful defeats. Many weren't caused by being completely outplayed. Instead, small moments changed everything. A mistake, a loss of concentration, a moment of panic, a failure to stay calm when the pressure exploded. Elite tournaments punish those moments brutally. One lapse, one error, one emotional reaction, and years of preparation disappear. World Cups are often won by teams that remain calm when everyone else loses control. Brazil has sometimes struggled with that, and opponents know it. The new generation. The good news for Brazil is that a new generation is emerging. Young stars are stepping forward. Fresh talent continues to arrive. The future looks bright. But youth brings another challenge: inexperience. World Cup pressure is different. Club football cannot fully prepare players for it. Millions watching. An entire nation expecting victory. Every mistake becoming headlines. Every decision being analyzed. Many talented players discover that talent alone isn't enough. Mental strength becomes just as important. Brazil's young stars will need to prove they can handle that pressure. Dangerous rivals everywhere. Another reason Brazil should be worried? The competition. Look around the football world. France remains loaded with talent. England continues to improve. Spain has rebuilt. Portugal is dangerous. Argentina still believes it can defend its title. And then there are the underdogs. Every World Cup creates unexpected stories. Every World Cup creates surprises. Every World Cup produces teams nobody saw coming. Brazil won't just face one difficult opponent. They could face several, and each knockout match becomes a battle where one mistake can end everything. The psychological trap. One of the most dangerous things in football is believing you're supposed to win. When expectations become too high, players stop focusing on the process. Instead, they focus on the outcome. They think about the trophy, the celebrations, the headlines, the history. But great teams focus on the next pass, the next tackle, the next decision. World Cups aren't won in the final. They're won through hundreds of small moments throughout the tournament. If Brazil becomes distracted by expectations, they could fall into the same trap that has hurt many favorites before them. Final prediction. Could Brazil win the 2026 FIFA World Cup? Of course. They have the talent, the tradition, the experience, and the quality to beat anyone. But if the emotional mistakes of previous tournaments return, if pressure overwhelms performance, if concentration disappears for even a few minutes, then the same story could happen again. Because Brazil's biggest enemy may not be France. It may not be Argentina. It may not be England. It may not be Spain. Brazil's biggest enemy could be the hidden weakness that has haunted them for years. And unless they solve it before 2026, the dream of a sixth World Cup might remain just that, a dream.